I've had a few requests from you guys to talk about clean smelling fragrances. There's so many ways we could define a clean fragrance, but for this video, I'm just gonna call this fresh, uplifting, and inoffensive. However, if you know my taste, you know I'm not just gonna go for the easy to reach stuff. I'm not gonna go for the stuff that everyone is talking about, that is super cheap, that is super well known or super mainstream. All that stuff is great, and you can totally get that to accomplish this task of smelling clean. But I want to give you guys a little bit more depth, a little bit more interest. So that's what I'm going to try to do in this lineup of 7 fragrances that to me smell clean and smell special as well in their own unique ways. So let's dive right into it. As usual, if you want to try any of the fragrances I'm going to talk about, they're going to be linked down in the description. First thing I'm going to do is get a few honorable mentions out of the way. These are fragrances that absolutely deserve to be in this list, but I've talked about them a lot and they're fragrances you might expect to see in a video like this. So I didn't want to just not mention them, but I want to make room for some lesser known and lesser discussed fragrances. First honorable mention is Perris Eau de Janeiro. Incredible fragrance, so cooling and fresh, literally smells icy, lowers the air temperature around you when you spray it. Incredible under the sun. It's kind of a grapefruit, juniper berry based scent. Again, very sharp and cold, very uplifting, but also has a distinctive quality to it. And the second one is a fragrance I've talked about a few times in recent videos from Bulgari. It's Man Rain Essence. Incredible watery fragrance, but more on the calming side of things. Uses tea, uses lotus flower, which brings that watery nuance, and it has a nice woody backbone. So yes, it does smell clean and watery like fresh rain, but it does have this masculine distinction to it that is understated and just very elegant. But let's get into the main 7 fragrances in this video, no particular order here. First one up is coming from Precious Liquid. It's called Blue Agave. I've been enjoying this fragrance for several years now. Within the past year or two, they've upgraded it to the limited collection, and I think they've actually made some changes to it. They've actually made it maybe a little stronger, a little bit more long lasting. I don't know what they did, but it smells different to me than it smelled in the smaller bottle that I think I still have somewhere, which is also great. It's a very simple fragrance. It's somehow a niche blue, kind of blue mainstream, but there's something about the quality, about the composition, about the way it smells in the air that makes it smell a little bit more elevated. It is kind of watery, salty. There's some citrus in here. It has agave, which honestly, I couldn't tell you much about what agave smells like, but it's in here. It's obviously in the name, but the blue is really what defines this fragrance for me. It is clean smelling. It is masculine smelling. It is easy to wear, but it does have a little bit more of a special quality to it. And for those that care, it's a fresher scent with better performance. I'd say above average. So if that's a make or break for you, it's going to make it here for you more than likely. That is Precious Liquid Blue Agave. Up next, from a very underrated brand that I've tried to keep afloat single-handedly. I feel like I am holding their ship above water as far as their fragrances go. Call me Spider-Man. I'm really not that cool. They don't really know who I am and they don't care, but it's fine. I'm still going to talk about their fragrances. Brioni EDP Eclat. This is a lovely, elegant, masculine profile that is understated. It's one that does not scream for your attention, but if people catch a whiff of this, it's just pleasant. It's something that smells sophisticated without, again, being too attention grabbing. This is fresh and musky, grapefruit rind, an enveloping musky quality with some woods. It's fairly simple, but it also smells almost like nothing else. It is its own thing. It's very much tied to the Brioni EDP DNA, which I'm loving as of late. All the fragrances have this through line to them. They smell like they belong in the same collection together, and they truly do. This is a fresher take on the DNA, and I think it's perfect for situations when, again, you just want to smell clean, but maybe a little bit more refined and understated. That is Brioni EDP Eclat. If you like Creed's Silver Mountain Water, which could have easily been here, I love that fragrance. I can easily recommend it for a situation like this, but you don't love that inky feel, then this is one to check out. It is kind of an alternative to it, in my opinion, from Alghabra. This is Scent of Paradise. Beautiful scent profile. Definitely smells reminiscent to Silver Mountain Water, but a little bit more on the fruity, citrusy side than on the tea, alpine, fresh, inky side. The metallic nature is not really a thing here, not very mineralistic in that way, but it is still very cooling, uplifting, fresh, smells a little bit alpine-like in a similar way, but a little bit more easygoing, maybe a little bit more unisex leaning than Silver Mountain Water. Still has this beautiful musky quality that smells white. It perfectly represents the presentation of this fragrance. Lovely stuff, easy to wear, clean, but with a little bit of class to it. Scent of Paradise from Alghabra. From the house of John Varvatos, no stranger here to this channel or to the YouTube community for fragrances in general. This is Artisan Pure. This stuff kind of speaks for itself. I almost included it as just an honorable mention, but I haven't talked about it that much in the past few months because I only just recently reacquired it in the past few months. But it's perfect for this occasion. In fact, even the original Artisan, which gets no talk these days, is also perfect for this occasion. That is a very classy, soapy, masculine fragrance. Not going to blow you away, but it is kind of a different take on a soapy, clean scent. But this takes that and just adds a little bit more dimension to it. Got a lot of citruses like clementine and orange, making it bright, making it clean. Petitgrain brings this green woody quality to it, and it does smell maybe a little bit soapy. There's some white florals that bring this soft nature to it while not taking away from the masculine woody quality in this fragrance. Such a great blend of ingredients, so well done, easy to wear, definitely going to make you smell refined. Artisan Pure from Varvatos. Up next is a house that needs more talk. They are known for doing some of the highest quality citrus-based fragrances, very natural smelling. This is from Perris, Monte Carlo. They call this Cedro di Diamante. This is beautiful. Juicy citrus, like bergamot, I believe. Bright, just smells like a sunny day. There's a little bit of warm ginger spice behind it and some woods. And there's some white florals in here that bring this masculine kind of depth to it. It does smell more like a classic Italian citrus aromatic with these beautiful neroli notes that just smell beautiful under the sun. The floral heart adds a little bit more depth to it, which I really appreciate, but you do have to like the idea of a slightly softer white floral heart. So let me know if you dig this one. If you haven't, check it out. That is Cedro di Diamante from Perris, Monte Carlo. This fragrance gets a lot of hate. I understand why, but I like it and I think it's perfect for this occasion. From Roja Parfums, the relatively new Elysium Eau Intense, a flanker to the famed, maybe somewhat infamous Elysium. And I think the biggest knock against this fragrance is that it doesn't perform super strongly. Now, granted, it is a very fresh, icy, kind of clean smelling fragrance with a lot of depth. And I think just that scent profile alone, when you smell it, you're like, yeah, I don't see this lasting very long. It's just the nature of the profile. If you wanted more performance, then I guess you may not get it here, and that's okay. You just got to move on. But if you can really appreciate a high quality, fairly unique fragrance that is still easy to wear and again smells very clean, then this is one you need to check out. It is tied to the original Elysium in my opinion, but has a little bit more of a niche edge, so to speak. That might sound weird, but I do believe that the original Elysium is a little bit more mainstream. It's very nice, well put together, but it smells mainstream. This smells a little bit more polarizing. I think fewer people will enjoy and appreciate this one compared to the original, and it's the rhubarb. I think that really might put some people off. It's a tart, slightly fruity quality to it that adds quite a unique and distinctive face to the scent. On top of this Elysium DNA, again, does smell a little bit the way it looks, has this icy cold feel. Juniper berry is still a major player in this fragrance. It's just an easy fragrance to wear on a hot day out. Maybe don't expect more than 6 hours out of it, especially if you're going to be under the sun and where it's going to evaporate even quicker and you're going to be mostly outside. Then yeah, don't expect to smell this a whole lot. Maybe spray a little heavier, spray your clothes. It will last a little bit longer. But if you're after performance with this one, you're not going to find it, so don't look for it here. Sample it first just to make sure it works for you. But again, if you're after a scent that I just described, then this is one to consider. That is Elysium Eau Intense from Roja Parfums. And our final fragrance in this video is one that definitely does not get talked about very much, especially from this house. It is easily overlooked by several other fragrances from the house of Micallef. This is Osaïto. I've had many of you guys asking me if I've tried this one, and yes, I've actually had this in my collection for several years. I just don't get a whole lot of wear out of it. I think the first time I tried it, I wasn't all that impressed, but I've come back to it several times over the past few years and have enjoyed it more and more and more, to the point where I am ready to give this its proper wearing in this upcoming summer heat. But this is a beautiful, clean aquatic that smells different. It has some depth to it. It uses myrtle, which is this very herbal, aromatic, floral quality, combined with the salty aquatic nature, just brings this beautiful depth. There's some woods in there, but it is mostly a fresh aquatic. It smells kind of minerally. It's like a river or a creek running over rocks. You can smell like the stone-like nature, maybe a little bit of the green in there. Wears fairly light on me, but actually does last a decent while for what it's worth. That is Osaïto from Micallef. Let me know if you have tried this one yourself. And once again, if you haven't, there's going to be links down below to check it out. All right, I want to know what you think of these fragrances down in the comments. And once again, check them out in the description if you have yet to try them. Thank you so much for tuning in. Peace. I'll see you in the next one.